What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mix Academy. If you're new here, my name is David Glenn. I'm a pro mixer. Today, we're taking a worship song from my man Colton May, his beautiful wife Claudia May, and they are the Mays. And so we have clean hands, pure hearts, and we're going to be dragging these files in and taking it from start to finish. In this first session, we're going to pull in the raws, we're going to listen, build a rough mix, maybe get to dragging it into the template, but for the most part, I really just want to introduce the song and evaluate it, see what it needs, take some notes, figure out a game plan, and then we're going to just take this from start to finish. We may need some editing. This may need some re-recording of guitars or added stuff. We'll see how it goes. We've got the raw track sitting right here waiting to be dragged in. Song start, I think, is a bar in. No, we'll let it, yeah. Now, this might be a little bit low up front. I'll tell you what, just bear with me and we'll get it up in the mix. It looks like the click is working. We're going to turn both of those off, and then let's build our rough. And we're going to go ahead and get the drums. Boom. Do we have any room sounds? Crowd mics. Let me hit play while I kind of listen through it here. And since we have two of those, I'm going to send those. We're just going to get organized a little bit here. I'm going to call that our crowd or congregation mics. And throw that below them. And let's see how that balance looks. We're going to send that to... Okay, so we've got some people on the left side, pretty close to the mic. So we're missing out on the ambience of the room, but we're getting some worship out of them, so which is beautiful. So I'm thinking we may leave it like that, but I may turn this one. Let's see what it sounds like if we use the real ADT trick, the fake stereo going on here. Let's try that. Not ideal, and if we send that to a room, I tell you what, for now, we're just going to leave it. We'll come back to the room mics. We got more to worry about than that for now, but listen to those. All right, a true test. We're going to hear the acoustic guitar. It was a DI. I think I remember this sounding pretty good when he first sent them to me. So let's see back here maybe. So that acoustic, not terrible for a DI. I mean, it could be a lot worse, right? We'll maybe try that UAD Soundworks or... We've got some distortion on it too. I'm not sure if that was a DI or what happened there, but we'll give it a shot, and then who knows, if you guys are up for it, maybe we'll re-record some acoustics for this one. We'll have to see how much attention we get on the streams and the playbacks here. Maybe we can go all out and record some new guitars and stuff for them. So let's check this out. Keep going. Let's get those drums up. You always have to kind of get the drums 10 dB plus in the template here. So with the toms, I like to go find a section where we've got tom hits from all three, if there's three. No, it looks like we just have two toms. We're just labeled tom 2 and tom 3, unless, are we missing something? So we'll see. What's up, guys? Romo Drummer, appreciate you. Yeah, man. Prophetic Ministry Hub said, what do you think of Black Salt plugins? Jordan, my friend Jordan. Yeah, man. Sean and Jordan over there. Great stuff. I love them. I don't use them a ton because I'm a control freak like that. I like to have hands-on with the end, but they did just send me their Telos guitars. We may try that out, see how it goes on the stream. But yeah, great tools, man. What are we doing? The overheads. Overheads would come up next. We got overheads from our crowd mics. Do we just have two toms? So I'm going to call it rack T and floor T here. And so it's just a 2. Okay, and then we panned that wrong. So then we panned our snare bottom off to the left. Could be cool. You never know. You never know. Snare panned off to the... No. Nope. No snare off to the left for me. I don't. Maybe a secondary snare. I could see where maybe a live record and you have a secondary snare. Maybe pan that a little to the... Nah, I don't know, man. That seems a little better balancing. Yeah, that sounds good. I don't want the tom super wide or the drums even. We'll get the crowd wide. We'll figure that out. I don't think I want the toms way out there. Let's hear these kicks. Okay, so we got good phase. It's been sweet. We'll come back to phase here in a minute. Let's just listen to what else we got. Where's our bass? Just getting familiar with these here. My man Romo said, what level do you aim for when you gain stage? So I bring everything in at -18. I'm a little weird, but I've been doing that, man, for so long. And so I use stereo monoizer. I get everything down to -18, and then I drag them in, and I build the mix from there. I used to just get everything in, and then I would use the faders, right? Well, I mean, 15, 20 years ago, that's how I would start a mix. But then when Pro Tools brought out clip gain, I prefer to use that. And so what I do is I start the mix with all the faders at 0, and then I clip gain them up. Like drums, the transients, you got to get those way up in the mix. But then like keys, guitars, things like that, I may not even have to boost them at all. I'm just getting the drums foundationally anyway. So -18, way more headroom than you need. I get rid of it almost instantly when I start the rough mix. But yeah, and then on the mat for final loudness, it just depends on what the label, artist, band is calling for. I mix pretty hot. I'm just like anyone, right? I'm torn on that. I like the hot. I like the energy. But then you turn that stuff off, the loudness processing, and things become more natural, human. They feel good. And so I try to blend both. You'll see as we mix here, we're gonna have some that's gonna be. But I'm not sure I'm not paying attention before final loudness, because here's what I'm doing. I'm mixing through bus processing, and then the individual bus processing is going to hit my mix A, which has got mix bus, and I'm just slamming it. So I'm hitting hard these different saturations, and then we come over here. We'll do some bus compression. I use Goldfoss. I use VTM. I'm mixing through this from the beginning. And then I also almost always instantiate another compressor. It's kind of like a grip on the middle, let the sides breathe. It creates a nice sound. You'll see that towards the end of the process. I also have parallel compression, And then the mix bus is all of this going through clipping into limiting. But then lately, I'm turning the Pro L2 off and I'm launching Ozone, and I'm giving Ozone a chance to see what it can do to improve it. Almost always turning off most of the modules, picking what I like from it, and then using the final maximizer from there, choosing the IRC. So I can't tell you what's going in before that. I'm just mixing through it, getting the job done. So, but good question. To make sure I don't clip the master, what am I doing for that? Using my ears. So I'm mixing through those saturation plugins, a good way to control your dynamics. I've got these on so all the vocals come here, all drums, drum crush, percussion, low end, all music, high end, all effects. These are my all buses, and then they feed mix A, which is essentially my mix bus. And so along the way, the tracks are getting virtual mix bus from Slate Digital, and I hit it pretty hard. Almost always I hit it too hard, and I got to kind of catch myself and back off. But mixing through that is gripping on things a bit, and then doing it again as a whole. You got Goldfoss. You got lots of things here that are bringing the mix in, and I've been doing this for so long. I kind of know my template, right? So good questions though, man. What are we doing? We got the kick. Let's hear what these drums sounds like before no phase stuff going on. Okay, so we have those guitars are, we get the mono source, but then stereo effects. And so if I want to pan that, there's a couple ways we can do it, but I want to hear those guitars together. Looks like we don't have a right guitar. Looks like we lost that channel, so we're going to go ahead and delete that, and it's okay. I was thinking we might go ahead and just rock this on the other side, and what we'll do is we'll pan this guitar 2, we'll call it, and we'll pan it off to the right. Let's hear that in solo. What's going on with this one? Some simple chording. Got the Strymon vibe going on. Cool. Let's check out this one. So it was very live, so there may be some mistakes and things that we'll have to tweak. A little bit of a pitch thing happening there. Yeah, and then this one can come up. Drum fill. Let's go check that snare. Okay. So we'll have a look at that. We may need to do some drum editing. Let's check these cymbals. Okay, so those are well recorded, but obviously we're crashing along. So we're gonna need to isolate those toms. I'm gonna take some notes here. So we're gonna put, I did listen before going live, there's a break in the song, there's a big stop. And the crowd is just those couple of guys on the left side singing right by the microphone. And so I want to find some sections for the chorus where we've got the crowd really engaged, and I'm going to copy that and stack them and duplicate it. So that's one of our first notes here, but we're going to put here, so drums phase for sure, tom, trick, or clean up. That's going to be cool. And then let's check these again. Do we have any? Yeah, we got some SB. That's cool. Okay, that could be a stereo track. We'll call it. And we'll send that to our perk bus. I'll try to keep checking in with you guys here in the chat. If you have any questions, man, feel free. I usually start the stream with a finished mix or something exciting to listen to so you can hear, but we don't have that yet. We're starting from scratch, so. Okay, let's come down. Just kind of give a listen and get keys. Beautiful. I would like that to go to a stereo track, all of these, and that, what's this one? It looks like we lost another one. No keys R2. It happens, and we will deal with it. You know what I also might do is take the lead singers and send them to like a verb and create a cool ambient sound for them as well. Let's see how they're doing on the chorus.
Our Jesus, who is this man? Resurrected Jesus, who is this? Who is this King? Mighty in battle, our strong tower, Jesus.
Right.
Who is this man? I want to know him.
Okay, so I think we're familiar with the song now. We've got the tracks. We know what we're working with. Pretty simple. We have our drums, our bass. We've got our keys, our guitars, and we should be good to go. So for me, the first step is almost always, we're going to check the phase. And we've got some other tracks here that we're going to need to keep in consideration if we do decide to edit the drums. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the crowd mics to the drums. And we're going to do just the drums, all mono, yep. And we're going to go auto align. So we have auto align 2. Good people at Sound Radix, give them a shout out for making great tools. And what we're going to do is we're going to check the phase between all of our drums. And for now, let's go ahead and route them correctly too, so that we'll go, let's just leave it alone for now. Let's just get the phase. And let's find us a section where we've got some powerful drums. We found it. We'll hit play. We're going to be back in just a minute. All right, did we give them enough time? We did. Cool. So I'm going to let AutoLine do its thing, and then I'm going to come in here, and I want the snare top to be my target value. I forget what they call it. I keep forgetting. Let's go here, and we're going to put this to be, right click on it. That's right. Right click, set as performance time. They changed the name of it after they released it. And now we're going to give a listen. And I tell you what, I'm going to bring the crowd mics down for this just for a minute. I'm going to crank the volume of my monitoring here. It's going to be really loud. I'll tell you what, and we gained low end. I've got a sub pack that I mix with behind me. That's SUBPAC. For anyone who's not familiar with the incredible tool that the sub pack is, that's how I feel and mix my low end essentially. Completely. And I've used it for years and years. I still got the M2X. I don't have the latest one. My contact over there, they had a horrible shipping issue with their latest version, and my contact is no longer there. So we're just rocking this one and loving it, man. But that's gonna help me to feel that. So if you don't feel a difference, it may be because you don't have an accurate representation in your low end, or you may be watching on a phone or whatever. So, but there's a significant bump there in the bottom end. And to check that, I'm using Option Shift Control on Mac, which I'll let you feel. I used to know them, the PC stuff, and be able to tell you if anytime I gave you a Mac shortcut, I could tell you the PC. But I was over 10 years removed from that. So we're gonna go Option Shift Control, and what I'm doing is anytime you use auto align or you mess with phase, you want to check and make sure it made an improvement. You don't want to just say, oh, these guys are great and they have a great tool, which they do, and just trust it. You want to check it and make sure that you actually hear the improvement. And if you don't, maybe you don't need to process it. So that's what I'm listening for here. I am going to bring the crowd mics back up because there's a lot of energy in them. Yeah, with the crowd mics up, it's not as big of a difference. So I'm going to bring them down one more time. Yeah, so a little bit with the kick, and it may not even be that big of a deal because we may not use the original kick, but we'll pull this back in.
Holy, come on, with clean hands, pure hearts.
So right there, what I heard was in the crowds, a little bit too much from the left side, and so we're going to have to figure out how to control that a bit. So that's about where the vocal lives, and we've suppressed it a little bit, but we'll come back to that. So drums seem to be in a better phase relationship, and I'm happy with that. You know what? I might go ahead and just commit that because that sounded fine. So we're going to take this, right click, and we're going to commit. We want to make sure we have our settings correct. Volume and media, yep. Sans group, elastic, everything. We don't really have anything there, but there we go. And we'll hide and make those inactive. And with the new M4 Mac Mini, that is a breeze to process, and we'll be right back to work. There we go with our new tracks committed. And now we can take these and we're going to come down. We'll go ahead and include our perk and our bass. We'll come back for the guitars. And we're going to come down here and put them towards the bottom of the template. Sorry if my mic was a little muddy there. I was getting pretty close to it. I lean into it to hear myself better, but this is where I have it EQ'd to be not so low end heavy. If I get close, that proximity effect will have you guys clicking away. So, yeah, we got some people watching. Man, let me know where you're from, your name. Love to answer any questions. So feel free, don't be shy. Love for this to be an interactive mix. So here we got the drums. So let's go ahead and put these in the template. I know I'm going to use a template. We got other work to get to. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel for this one. There's our kick in. We go ahead and just use that. So these two, bam, we're making decisions. Get out of here. And hide them. Hit the wrong button. So snare, we'll go ahead and pull the snare down to the snare top track in my template. Same for the snare bottom. And then we'll deal with those when we get there. Toms, we have 2 toms, so we'll drag them probably to my deep toms samples. And so, you know, for now we'll put them on. Actually, I hate replacing toms. I don't want to have to. And so what we're going to do is put them here, and these sound really good. So we'll put them here, maybe a little, we'll see. And we'll see if we replace them or how they sound. We'll go ahead and maybe show you what they sound like in the template. We'll just highlight and loop that. Those are going to toms. Cool. We'll turn this off. All the verb and everything off. And then with it on, this may be too much gain staging. We'll put these on. So the level's fine, but we have too many of a good thing, too much of a good thing. We have these 2 plugins right here, and I think I'm going to go with the EQ version. This is kind of how I like to start my toms, my template. Not mad at that. Gain staging's fine. We could probably even drive that harder if we want to. And then we've been using STL Control Hub on the toms. Do I have something floor tom sample love from Jeff Giuliano? I really like the sound of this one. Let's turn it off. Much louder, but I don't know that it's better. Let me do this. Let me pull it. Yeah, it's better. We'll keep that. Keep that. Moving on. We are looking for our, do we have a hi-hat mic? We have overheads. No worries. That will be plenty. We'll drag those down to our overheads. We do still need to check. I forgot to check if the overheads are in the correct stereo position here. So let's go in. We're going to solo just the overheads. Where's the tom section? Where them toms at? Come here. Yep, they're backwards. See that? So I'm a lot of weird, but when I mix, I like to mix drummer's perspective. Air drums, you know, I'm a guitar player, but air drums, you're playing in the car, you're listening on your buds or whatever. You know, no one wants to hear the hi-hat on the right side, right? I get it. It's live worship. If there's a music video attached to this or whatever, then we're certainly going to flip it. But for my sanity, my autistic ADHD brain here, we're going to flip them, and we're not just going to do that. So we're actually going to put a new track. It doesn't have to be that cool. Put the left in there. Take the right to the left because it's actually the left. And then we're going to get rid of that guy. Thanks for your help, buddy. All right, cool. Now these two... I'm not a fan of what I'm getting from this one. Let's go into the all music bus. You know what? That might be partially my fault. Let's go here and go all drums. Now let's hear it. Yeah. That right floor tom is not, it doesn't feel on the right. And so we may address that on the buses, but for now we have ourselves a nice even pair. One more check in mono, and then I'm going to move it to a stereo track, is how are they? Don't always do it like this, but just do it quick for now, and then we'll send that to the high end. Let's hear that. Well recorded sonically, it sounds great. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll drag these down to, tell you what, the new Pro Tools, when I go to drag things down, or the new operating system, I think it's a Mac thing, almost always I go to drag down files and then the dock pops up. Maybe I just stop using it like that. But all right, overheads are in. I think everything's in the template there. We didn't get a hat or a ride. No problem. We probably won't need it. We'll just get rid of those tracks. And then what are we looking at here? I think the rest. So we'll get these in the template and then we'll talk about some decision making here. Let's go ahead and choose which kick we're going to use. Okay, that'll wake you up. If you've been listening so far, this might get a little louder. Let's go find, we got some peaks out here. And what I'm looking for is I want the kick. We got great dynamics right here. It's a great time to talk about setting trigger up to work for you and not against you. This is important when you want to your mix to portray the dynamics of the drummer. And so often that's the case in live worship. We're going to reduce the dynamics a ton, but you still want to feel that. And so we're going to set trigger up so that it actually sees these as proper hits. This is our hardest hit, it looks like, in the session for the kick drum, and it's going across the top. Let's back that off, and we're right in the ballpark. So right there should be really good. Now, the softest hits are here. It's not going to account for those, so we're going to have to figure out how to get those in the mix. Right there, see? So we could drag here and set that. Cool. Now it's following the drummer. Now we can control that. We can reduce that. As you can see, I'm already kind of doing right there. But we'll have a play with that here in a bit. Now at least we know we've got our hits. I am sliding the re-trigger inside of trigger to the right to make sure that I don't have any secondary hits or flamming from the kick drum. And so we can get pretty aggressive with that when we're mixing worship. There's not any metal blast beats or anything like that. And then our click, let's choose one. We'll see what number one sounds like here. We'll go to, yep, I'll explain why this is routed to the mix bus here in a little bit. Maybe drop a comment or a note if I forget to, but we'll try to remember to talk about that. Let me grab our click. And this one's not tracking, so we're going to come out here again, do the same thing. There's our kick click. We're going to back that off a bit until it dips. So you see how it went down in the GUI here. I want that hardest hit to be across the top, just like that. There we go. Now we can come back and hear that section, and we'll drag our detail down. So clearly, that's a massive difference in dynamics between the softest hits and the hardest hits. Let's hear it in the track. Cool. And so we'll restrict that. But for now, let's back off our kick click and let's try some other ones. That is exactly where we want to be for dialing in this kick. Sounds good to me. And then now what we're going to do is for both of those, I don't know about the kick bottom. That low end feels pretty good. All right, we got a question. We'll come back to the kick. If there's performance or sound you're not feeling from, like the drums, for example, do you usually reach for plugins to attempt fixing it, or do you prefer to replace it? So there's a fine line between running a business mixing and the creative side, right? And so I want to respect both. Gotta provide for your family. Like I'm falling apart, failing to right now because of the medical stuff. But to that aside, you got to provide for your family. So running a good business and respecting your customer, all that's great. Time is money. You want to make sure you get paid well to spend the time. That's a big topic for discussion another day maybe. But then you have the creative, the art side, and it depends on the song. So with this one, I know the sound I'm going for in my head is that larger than life, hyper real modern worship sound. And so for that, I knew it right away. I just like, let me replace it. I've built a kick system inside of Mixing Modern Worship and get a plug for my kick system here. My system, right? The kick click and the kick sub. But these are mix ready. They're good to go. And so we dial these in, and then I'm not compressing them. They're going around my 2 bus, which is why they're going to the mix bus and not my mix A. That'll make more sense in a minute when we look at the buses. But I knew I was going to replace it. If I were going for more of like a House Fires vibe or something where it was more ambient or real, then I would probably use the live kick and get that sounding great first, and then blend what I needed for something like that. But for this, I know I want that solid punch. I want that low end, and I worked really hard on these samples, so I want to use them. But great question, man. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Let's get the bass down there. We'll come back to the kick. We'll put this on because this needs some love. We've just got a plain DI. We're going to go to the high point of the song where the bass is really driving. I want to see, does he have pedals? No, he's just digging in more. Yeah, so it's just digging in more. Okay, so let's check this out. You know, I think we got enough out of the mid-range. I'm going to scoop it on the DI, and I think we'll create a drive track or an amp track to complement it. And then I'm going to compress against it. I already hear the dynamics are wide, so I'm going to compress against the top end for the slap, the string noise, that stuff. And then we'll lock it in here in a second. You'll hear this bass really come together. Holy place, who is this king? Mighty in battle. So I'm going to come back to the low end right now. So not coming back to it. Here we go. We're going to look at Saturn. This is my go-to for bass. We're using the dynamics knob here, and we're going to slide that to add sustain. We're going to even out the performance of the bass, and we're doing that in a multi-band way. We're down here in the subs. Let's take a listen. Okay, getting a little beefy, but I'm not mad at that. So depending upon the song, I may or may not mute this top band for gospel, for slap bass, that kind of stuff. We're certainly going to leave that open, or it may just be set higher. But yeah, that sounded pretty good. Let's compare where we started. Okay, I'm going to do a little corrective EQ. I like what it's doing to increase the sustain, but it got a little muddy on us right in here. So I think I'm gonna EQ it out. I don't always do that, but we're gonna start with that. Then I think I'm gonna go to VMR. I've got this preset over here. We'll just get rid of these guys, and this is parallel. We'll hear it all in. Turn it on. Exactly. Let's back off the output. Okay, so it's way too squashed. We lost movement in the subs, but I wanted to hear it fully compressed so that I can hear what I'm blending in. We'll dial that in. Okay, and then I'm just gonna blend a little bit. Something like that's good enough. Now let's hear it with the track.
This holy place, who is this king? Mighty in battle.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. We got to have some grit on this, man. Some Chris Greeley distortion, man. Let's go in here. I say Chris Greeley because it was a long time ago, but I saw he was mixing something for Bethel years and years ago. And on Instagram, he posted this picture of when the distortion kicked in. I forget what pedal they used for that, but you guys, someone could tell me probably, tell me in the comments or the chat. But yeah, so we have this bass. Let's get this amp in and let's see what we have going on. Put it in the mix. And then something I've been doing lately, CLA bass. And check this out. Okay, obviously a little bit crazy. We'll blend that in. Let's see. Starting to feel that. Let's check it in context. And we got to check phase, always, always, always when you start playing with stuff like that. getting more low end slightly when I invert the polarity. So we're going to flip the phase on that, pull it back out, come over here, and we'll check in with the chat here in a second.
Holy praise, who is this king? Mighty in battle, our strong tower. Jesus. Oh, who is this man? I want
Okay, and then I really want to make sure we control this area because that lead vocal